thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video, Everything Great About Justice League. This may be a first, but that upper lip. I had completely forgotten about the Mission Impossible 6 mustache controversy when I walked into this movie in theaters, and it may as well have been purple, so win off there. But let's just consider for a moment that Henry Cavill had to sign a contract about his mustache. So that's a thing that happens. And I will give them some wins for number 1, realistically using terrible vertical video like children are wont to do, and number 2, grainy phone footage explains some of the terrible artifacts on that lip. And while I maybe don't agree with the tactic, this opening scene is very deliberate. It's upbeat, it's about hope, and we're already seeing Soup's new brighter suit. It's a separation from BVS that at least lets us know what we're in for.
What's the best thing about Planet Earth?
Redheads. No, seriously, I'm pretty sure it's love. There's a good glass reflection introduction for bats.
What do you want from me? Fear.
Bill is a mind hunter who doesn't experience fear. So, yeah. I will give you that. Bowie and Prince were both absolutely on Superman's level. Well, if this isn't the first real Snyder scene in this movie, great use of montage and music to underscore the entire emotion of this opening. That's a pretty smart way to get the upper hand. Draw the attention of the guards to the guys with automatic rifles so you can sneak up behind them. Feels wrong to win that. Still gonna. Yup to Wonder Woman's intro standing atop Lady Justice. Yup to her theme being orchestrally adapted. Dang it, I love how easy she makes power look.
Down with the modern world. Back to the Dark Ages.
I'm pretty sure Tyler Durden tried that, and you weren't even in that movie. That was this guy. Now that's an entrance. And Wonder Woman saves everybody. Bruce Wayne with a beard. A real man's beard. A beautiful beard, if you will. Sorry, Bale. And that silly little smirk. I used to dislike Ben Affleck. I don't know if it's this channel having a positive impact on me, or if he's just gotten more likable.
Strong man as strong as alone. You ever heard that?
That's not a saying. That's the opposite of what the saying is.
Yeah.
I will say that of all the problems, this DCEU entry got the most laughter out of me. And poking fun at the foundation of the whole kit and caboodle, it just works.
You do it dressed like a bat. Like an actual bat.
Also Khal Drogo, Conan, Jason Momoa's workout routine.
One misses the days when one's biggest concerns were exploding wind-up penguins.
Yeah, but at least you can mostly move your neck now. I appreciate that the Flash's powers are just hinted at in this first intro, letting us see him as the world sees him. Weird, but normal.
Are those prescription? Or are you just trying to look brainy?
Jimmy Olsen lives, and he's helping out Batman now.
I am a drag on your life. I can't sit here and watch you run in place in Central City.
How about instead of stepping on my speed puns, you just teleport out of there up to Mars or something?
For them to see the monster.
You are not a monster.
It's weird that you thought I meant me.
Frankenstein burn.
Any changes today?
No, my queen.
Jumping right into the conflict on Themyscira with the Amazons, since they're one of the few backstories we've already gotten.
At last, you call me home.
Steppenwolf's CGI leaves something to be desired at times, but Mance Rayder? Kieran Hines' voice work with the added effect is perfectly intimidating. Every single one of these Amazon warriors' workout routines.
See you later, guys!
Also, holy crap, that's a ton of self-sacrifice. Sheesh. As hard as it is to watch the Amazons struggle knowing they're likely to fail, I love the amount of effort and sacrifice and teamwork they put into trying to succeed. And if there was any doubt how outmatched they are, have I ever given a win for pretty hair? Seems... Hippolyta gets a pretty hair win.
And I'll stick a probe up.
That's some passion. Thank goodness for network TV censoring.
Every day, I wake up different, modified.
How do you...
Something of an interesting character origin to have each of his powers be like a surprise. Even Fingertips Wikipedia.
Allies from other worlds.
Green Lantern Corps of the DCEU? Aw, never mind. Still, if there isn't a scene of this ring flying through the screen of Deadpool 2, totally missed opportunity. Holy crap, there's so much awesomeness packed into this quick flashback. Zeus Hadoukening lightning bolts at the mother boxes, working with Ares for David Thewlis' quickest cameo ever, and Artemis shooting missile arrows at Steppenwolf ships.
We tend to act like the doomsday clock has a snooze button.
You need some Watchmen to hit it every once in a while. The Flash likes K-pop. Okay. Everyone knows Blackpink though, right? Everyone's singing, oh my gosh, the Flash likes Rick and Morty.
Yeah, I do competitive ice dancing.
What they use on the space shuttle to prevent it from burning up on re-entry.
I do very competitive ice dancing.
Wait, does he actually think that's what he's doing? Sure looks like it.
It's not.
Now we get the real Flash introduction from his perspective, and it's... come on. I know you saw it in the trailer, but look at that slow-mo.
You see, I believe enemies are coming.
Stop right there. I'm in.
You are?
Yeah, I need friends.
So if Aquaman was the lead-off to comedy, the Flash is like the cleanup? Forget that, I hate baseball. In a penalty shootout, Arthur Curry is the first shooter, and Barry Allen is the fifth. There. Both important, but you know who's more valuable.
So I am just a black hole of snacks. I am a snack hole. What are your superpowers again?
I'm rich.
Honesty.
Looks like you have a date, Miss Prince. About time somebody here did.
Oh, Arthur, always the Yenta. Aquaman to the rescue.
Whiskey. One for Ahab there.
Spoilers? It's only been 167 years since that book came out. This is what I love about Snyder. He can make just about anything look badass and cool. So epic. Love Aquaman. Huh, that's a pretty great weapon. You think, nah, it's cool, I'm in water, then bang, you're free falling to the rocks below.
You dare speak of Queen Atlanta that way?
Your queen left me on my father's doorstep and never gave me another thought.
Your mother left you to save your life.
Water displaced position. That's terrifying, and nuclear stacks are scary enough as it is.
I know, Mother. You've waited too long for the Unity.
I take real umbrage with the notion that the Nostromo would be helping Steppenwolf. J.K. Simmons is always a win. I know, I usually wait for them to say something. Couldn't help myself. Look at that stash.
Come on, you think he fights criminals for 20 years here and then he goes to Metropolis and kidnaps 8 people? I'll talk to him tonight.
I also love this long history hinted at where Jim Gordon has this relationship with Batman that everyone just accepts now. Alright, Elfman. I'd say you were in that. And I'm not gonna knock it. That's the Batman theme. There's no two ways about it.
May still be alive.
9.
Oh.
Barry's face.
Oh, wow, they really just vanish. Huh? Oh. That's rude.
I love that the one guy who would actually be capable of the super cliche turn and vanish doesn't know it's what all the cool kids are doing yet.
One at a time. The bridge made up.
This simple crossing the bridge scene is a perfect illustration of how they're not quite a team yet. They're all loners, so the idea of answering to someone else is lost on them.
We have families. Why does everyone keep telling me that?
He has a point. How do you humanize yourself to someone who doesn't care what species you are?
Full transparency, I've never done battle. I've just pushed some people and run away.
As funny and accurate as that description is, I really like Barry's sincerity here. Sure, the studio probably pushed the Justice League together too fast, but these are the real consequences.
Save one.
What?
Save one person.
And then?
You'll know.
And equally as impressive is Bruce's leadership. Such a simple lesson that totally works in sparking Barry.
You were born of her.
Steppenwolf is so obsessed with the mother boxes, he's happy to see Cyborg. Batman is still a brawler, so raw. And Diana casually dodging a parademon blaster.
Alfred, I need the Nightcrawler.
More like Night Scuttler. Did you talk to Chris McGay about this? First off, how about that score? My goodness, Danny Elfman is channeling Hans Zimmer. I even feel like it fits right next to Superman's theme from Man of Steel. Second, yup. All the way yup. Flash finding a new way to help out and being really pleased with himself in the process. Also, teamwork. Politeness. That's pretty... badass bad guy. Aquaman to the rescue again, in a really visually pleasing way. Resourcefulness. I wouldn't eat the parademons, though.
Like a bat cave.
Oh, Barry.
You know that if she kills you, we'll cover for her.
Reassurance?
We mean bring him back in like a yay, he's back way, not in like a pet cemetery scenario.
Fun me fact that I'm just remembering now for the first time in over 20 years is that my 3rd grade class was shown roughly 5 minutes of Pet Sematary for a movie day or something, and then the teacher stopped it and said, "You're all sweating, I don't think we should watch this." Apparently no one screened the Stephen King movie before showing it to a bunch of 8-year-olds in 1993. So instead we watched Fern Gully, where I learned that my dad was the bad guy from Fern Gully in real life. I then went on to murder many trees, and I can only assume thousands of tree fairies, and now I make videos about movies. Life's weird, ain't it? I'm gonna go watch Ferngully. By the way, my dad's not a black slime monster, he just cuts trees. Of course Tim Curry was the slime monster. Wait, they're remaking Pet Sematary? Longest non-win ever. Let's see. Win for Barry's clairvoyance.
Doesn't matter how strong you are, or what abilities you might
He's more human than I am.
Oh, snap. Is that something you learned when he asked you to save his mother with what he accepted as his dying breath? Sorry, I'm not gloating. I actually love Bruce's 180 in this film.
Maybe he's at peace.
He'll get over it.
Might take tossing you into a few cars, but yeah, he probably will. Superman's alive? Also, Henry Cavill's workout routine. Ooh, did you catch that? So subtle. OG Superman theme stepping down instead of up like it's supposed to, hinting that
he's not alright.
I love the look on Soup's face. No fear, just curiosity.
Pet Sematary.
Barry's not wrong. So another thing about Oh, okay. Oh man, that is my favorite thing to happen in the DCEU so far. I know some people have issue with how overpowered he is, but it's oh so satisfying to me. And Barry does just try to push him away. There's that theme again with a little bit of a dissonant tone. Oh, he's so fast. This little goofy fly glide he does to get there. First one, I think, to stop Diana from clanging. Brutal.
Tell me, do you bleed?
Everyone keeps saying the same thing about that line. Of course he bleeds, he's human. But that's the point. Their whole battle in BVS was Bruce treating him inhumanly. So Clark's evil lizard brain was caustically lashing back at that. Like a rag doll. Just like to point out that Diana's sword has some pretty deep gouges from cutting the stone into pieces.
Do you talk to fish?
So the first time he ignored the question and that was fine. Because man, they could not have cast a more badass devil-may-care beast to assuage all the fans' fears about Aquaman being a bit lame in live action. A humanizing moment for Bruce not wanting to show how much weaker he is than the rest, even playing it off as a joke at first.
Yeah. Oh, something is definitely bleeding.
But a solid moment for his character to be vulnerable with Diana in order to get through to her. As quick as it all happened, oh whatever, hugging.
Are you really you?
I'm really me, Ma.
Well, now.
Honestly, I think we're all gonna be dead way before that. You got no powers, no offense. This guy might be working for the enemy, we don't know. You're tripping over your feet and mine.
Second favorite part of this film. Lots of honesty, a compliment or two, and Jason Momoa just killing this role. I love that at first you think maybe he's just being real, but slowly crosses into, come on, he wouldn't say that territory, and then it clicks.
You say a word about this, you'll meet every piranha I know.
I honestly didn't hear anything after we're all gonna die.
Not to be outdone. I do not hate that Batman has a cannon on the roof of the Batmobile. And that was some ingenuity.
Oh, snap!
You're welcome.
Everybody else in the Justice League to Batman's rescue. That's still pretty awesome. Parademon surfing. Saving your fast little buddy. Finally, Batman gets a gun. Oh. They really do a great job of finding ways for the team to work together.
I believe in truth. But I'm also a big fan of justice.
Come on. Have you no heart? So awesome. And I'm not saying I wouldn't have liked to see the black suit, but I also don't hate the revert to the brightness of yesteryear.
So, how do I help?
There's Superman. Not immediately taking over, deferring to Batman and seeing how he can help.
Slowpoke.
Oh, it's on.
Friendly rivalry. And they were all electrocuted to death. Lesson learned. Just kidding. You can't knock the two fastest guys alive saving civilians.
So I really like being alive. So do I.
That's some real sincere honesty. We like you alive too. Also, it's funny because they were both dead. Teamwork. Comeuppance. Probably worse once Darkseid gets you. Aw, Barry finally earned that fist bump.
That's the plan. Okay, we're not ready for...
Big round table. 6 chairs. Right there.
But room for more.
Yeah, that's nice. You should call it the Community Center of Righteousness. Finally, Teen Titan him up.
But if I win, you're off the team.
Superman the prankster. Honestly, it's sort of nice to see him lighten up a bit. I mean, that yacht's gotta be a win by itself. Oh my gosh, it's Deathstroke.
Shouldn't we have a league of our own?
A Legion of Doom might be better, but an Injustice League will do. Bet you could even get Black Mask. Just remember, there's no crying in superhero killing. Justice League was a tough one for me. If you saw my 60-second review, you know I enjoyed this film, and I still really do, flaws and all. But if you've been watching my channel long enough, you know that nothing irritates me more than studio meddling, and subsequent viewings have made that meddling more apparent to me. So it's hard for me to be forgiving of this film's issues when the studio ignored BVS and Man of Steel numbers and tried to play it safe with Whedon's reshoots. I know Snyder left because of a family tragedy, so I'm sure there were lots of hard decisions to make. Sadly, in the process, they alienated a lot of the people who were committed to this universe, and most everyone else just collectively said, saw that coming. It's strange because every decision a studio makes is about the bottom line, yet they made some of the worst financial decisions for this movie. You remove too much Snyder, which, let's be honest, has been the heart of the DCEU. The safe bet was to go with what you knew would put butts in seats whether critics liked it or not. I guess they thought they could just ride it out on the name alone. My other big issue is Steppenwolf, both from a visual and a character position. But I can excuse his early PS3 graphics level CG and wants to turn Earth into Apocalypse motive as a shallow warm-up for Darkseid, who he seems to be way below in this continuity.
I will take my place among the new gods for Darkseid.
I think Steppenwolf is to Darkseid what Ronan was to Thanos. And if that's the case, bring it on. He's really just a catalyst to bring this league together and get the Hall of Justice built. I'm sorry, I know I'm being negative and that's not what you come here for.
That's not right.
But my heart just breaks for Zack Snyder and really every actor in the Justice League, especially Batfleck's apparent disillusionment with this universe. I feel it and it makes me sad, because I really do think he's a great Batman. We still like you, man. And those wind removals in the beginning were really about Snyder's vision being messed with. But enough of that. Maybe Snyder will get another crack at it going forward. Feel free to pull a Days of Future Past and try again. So, taking this movie at face value, its last hurdle is what audiences expect and what this universe actually wants to be.
Can you at least point me to Atlantis?
Coming off the realism of Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, I think everyone sort of expects this universe to go in that direction. Man of Steel was one of the more realistic looks at Superman. But ultimately, this universe is a blending of the two. Batman is destructible and a real human for the most part, but his cape also takes a perfect comic shape every time he jumps. This movie especially has some awesome comic style, and that's a lot of the fun for me. The final showdown with them all working together is totally entertaining and gratifying. But let's be honest, these are all things we can look past. What really matters is the characters and their interactions with each other. And given the amount of time they took to introduce these characters, not much, I really felt like they pulled it off. You can identify at least one thing about each character and how they interact with another team member.
That feels like an oversimplification.
The flirtatious tension between Bruce and Diana is heavy, even if she's clearly still hung up on Steve Trevor. The friendly rivalry between Barry and Clark plays throughout, as well as Barry's attempts to break through to Cyborg, who, side note, has the silkiest voice and was actually one of my favorite characters on second viewing. Bats and Aquaman have a rough start, but they end up finding common ground thanks to Diana's leadership. And Jason Momoa was probably the biggest surprise for me. As bizarre as it is for the dude who lives under the sea to be, he's one of the more relatable members. He's always on the fence, saying what we're thinking, and has real reactions to situations. But in the end, he's just there to have fun. And then Ezra Miller is definitely the audience surrogate. An outsider that doesn't know all the superhero quirks yet, doesn't really know how to fight, and he really only takes baby steps forward, which I like. These things take time. He's just a fanboy that was pulled up to the big leagues. Then there's Superman. Something I keep reading, and it's relevant to, let's say, comic book movies in general, and really all movies, all universes, all stories.
It's because they know he's dead, right?
But people feel that there were no consequences to Superman's death. And to that I say, have you seen Justice League? It's the only reason Steppenwolf comes to Earth. We all knew Superman wouldn't be dead for long, but that doesn't take away from the first half of this film. I'm not saying having a part 1 and part 2 would have been a bad thing, bringing him back at the last act of this film maybe, but we still felt the loss. Like I said, it's the impetus for this entire story. The world is pushed into chaos because he's gone. That's why Darkseid sends Steppenwolf to start messing everything up.
The Kryptonian's death plunged this timid world into such terror.
And as far as Superman is concerned, I'd say he was affected by his death. He's quippy now.
What was it like, coming back?
Itchy.
And it's almost as if he realizes his dark costume wasn't hopeful enough. That's why he's such a beacon of light in this film. That's why when he saves the day in the end, he saves the entire day. He's the hope in the hopeless. I realize these were thematic and stylistic choices, but that's the direction Superman is moving, and I'm okay with it. In Man of Steel, he's a baby superhero, smashing everything and dealing with fitting into this world. In BVS, he sees the repercussions of everything he's done and everything he tries to do, and doesn't know how to reconcile the losses. In this film, it would be fair to say that his own death made him reassess what was important, and that was clear. People, love, family. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Cards on the table, I probably still prefer Batman v Superman. I like everything this film tried to do, and there are some really special and memorable moments that will stick with me. It's still the Justice League, it's still a fun ride and totally fine action blockbuster. It's even a little more upbeat than previous films.
I knew you didn't bring me back because you like me.
I don't. Not.
It just did away with the style and tone of BVS that made this universe unique. It's not quite the DCEU team-up epic it could have been and should have been. Still, Cyborg was awesome. He was sort of the Justice League ex machina who could just let his robot half do complex things whether he had learned the skill or not. So I'm glad the Justice League has him, but for us mere mortals, there's today's sponsor, Skillshare. Whether you want to try to catch up to Cyborg and learn about technology, or Bruce Wayne is your role model and you want to expand your business knowledge base, or you're like me and are more interested in design, from illustration to film production to photography, Skillshare has a huge online community with thousands of classes for whatever you're interested in. Honesty time.
The lasso of Hastia compels you to reveal the truth.
I haven't been using Premiere Pro for video editing, even though I have Adobe's entire Creative Cloud. To be fair, I do use Illustrator, Photoshop, Audition, and even After Effects daily, but goodness, Premiere Pro was so daunting when I tried to teach myself multiple times. I just found a simpler program which sadly lacks a lot of the functionality and crashes if I ask too much of it, which is all the time. Skillshare has totally changed that for me. I found Jordy in his Premiere for Beginners videos. I'm now slowly switching over so that all my programs integrate with each other, and having someone teach me step by step has made it really easy. I don't have to go anywhere or, thank goodness, actually talk to anyone. And Skillshare has thousands of classes just for Adobe programs, so you're gonna find whatever it is you need and you can do it all from home. An annual premium membership is less than $10 a month. And today, Skillshare is offering the first 500 of my fans to sign up 2 free months to try it out. Skillshare can help you improve your skills for the job you want and even unlock new opportunities. So go to skl.sh/CinemaWins or click the link in the description to start learning today.
Thank you is not enough what you did.
Undid a mistake, that's all.